We now have the privilege of hearing from a man who built his life and career on the pillars of resilience, integrity, and faith. Frank Astorino's journey is one of grit and perseverance, marked by challenges that could have deterred many. Please join me in welcoming Frank Astorino as he shares how life trials shaped his purpose and why, for him, it's never wrong to do the right thing.
Hi, my name is Frank Astorino, and this is my story of Rise Up. Historically, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a wealth manager, I've been a public servant, and I've also been a philanthropist. And all of those have been culminating with the desire to have an impact on not only my family and community, but the world at large. By meeting Lisa Nichols, she tapped a chord and brought the call at a higher volume, and that's why I'm doing the story. My beginning in wealth management, financial planning, began with a dilemma on whether I was going to go into advertising or go into financial planning. And I had a broad liberal arts background, so financial planning was definitely a challenge when I decided to go that route. Being blessed with and being surrounded by a lot of marketing people, they coined my tag as financial planning without limits. And that captured both what clients were saying, team were saying, and that's really who I am. I didn't put any limits on what I would do to solve complex financial issues and challenges in people's lives. And that's how I got started with that tag. Fast forward 15 years later, with a lot of experience and credentials, I found that I also had to be a CEO. And to be a CEO and a consummate financial planner was a new challenge because we now had a business. People had to be paid, clients had to be taken care of, and I had to adapt to the role of being an upbeat and current financial advisor and in its totality, and also run a business. I had a colleague that was my accountant. He was also a forensic accountant, also was my golfing buddy at our country club. It would have been a real nice gesture when he asked if I would be willing to look at his portfolio and to see if I can do the same type of management that I do for others. And I said, I raised the question. I said, so how have you done over the last 10 years? Have you kept track? And he said, I've averaged at least 16% a year, every year for the last 10 years. And I said, I don't think I could compete with that. The only person that has done anything like that is Peter Lynch. So that opportunity was lost. He decided not to go forward with us, but fast forward, that money manager that could have been a manager that I could have taken on, unfortunately I didn't, and he did, and it happened to be Madoff. So that was a dilemma and an opportunity that I was glad that I missed. When I heard about Madoff, and I really hadn't had any familiarity with him or really knew of him at the time, we found a change in people's perspective and attitude towards cost and performance. So it now took away from that element of trust that was intrinsic to where people were second guessing almost everything that advisors were doing that day, not just me, but everyone. So that was a turning point for me and an adaptability that I had to adjust to. Well, I had really engineered my practice around financial life coaching after meeting Mitch Anthony, who was the pioneer of the term. And the life balance for me had to do with, well, I had an adopted child, I had triplets, and I had to live through a triage of experience with them, resuscitate one of my kids. I saved another kid from drowning, and life happens. And I had to become resilient to anything that could come my way. My wife had the front line, taking care of the kids, and I was having to save for $1 million worth of college expenses. So it went from financial planning without limits as my story to putting your money where your life is. And that's been my passion for the last couple decades, is helping people overcome the life hurdles that confront them and to bridge the wealth and the money, all that comes with that and its complexity, with the human element. I think when I was in high school, my career exam came out as a lawyer or a judge, and my first instinct and experience with that was on a state championship tennis team. We were state champions for 4 years, and I had earned my way from being a basketball player to a tennis player among highly ranked players, and I had to work my way up from doubles to second singles. And mind you, I was one of 8 children at the time, so college funding wasn't even in the cards. I had to figure a way that I was going to pay for it or go to a local school. Some lawyer parent was able to manage to negotiate with the director of athletics to get his 2 sons in number 2 and number 3 position. And people knew back then that the scouts and the scholarships were for the top 3 players. So I lost that opportunity. I ended up stepping off the team with my doubles partner, and that was the beginning of my pursuit of justice. Fast forward from there, in my adult life, after not pursuing law and pursuing wealth management, I also became an uncontested 4-term councilman, leading to council president. And I learned from that experience that politics is kind of a stage for the dilemma of, doing the right thing and getting reelected. And even though I saved our town millions of dollars and tried to bridge 2 parties together, you never knew who your friends were. And from there, I learned that justice is within, and it was something that I wanted to pursue, and I carried into other ventures in my life where people could benefit. My notion of giving back really stems from gratitude and family. Coming from a large family and then having another large nuclear family, I couldn't do enough. In my career, I had to try to help people and better their lives, but I always wanted to do more. So getting involved in community, getting involved in charities. What stands out in my mind, and one of the many charities that I had been involved with, is I donated money to a young child who needed to pay for lunch. And I got a card from her, and she said if it wasn't for my donation, she wouldn't have had lunch every day for the school year. And that just touched a chord in me. When I leave this week, next week I'll be a co-sponsor to bring soldiers home for the holidays. And I do things like that because I really believe the injustices that are going on in our country and in our world, and the need for leadership and thought leadership, I just want to do as much as I can. So community and philanthropy is my extension of family and the love I have for it. The tonality of my message and the credibility of my message could be best found on our website, Astorino, www.astorinofinancialgroup.com. And from there, we're easily accessible. All our contact information is there, but it'll give you a little bit of a flavor for what clients would resonate with us. And it doesn't have to be the right fit for everyone, but those who do come to us, it's a shared blessing when we get together.
And there you have it, Frank Astorino's remarkable journey of resilience, adaptability, and unwavering integrity. His story reminds us that true success isn't just about wealth, but about building a legacy rooted in doing what's right and lifting others along the way. Thank you, Frank.